What's up, boys? Welcome to the Week 3 Thick Love Incorporated Fantasy Football League review. Hopefully, my goal this week is to make Chuck come up with a brand new criticism for me. Because Week 1, he accused me of making an Al-Qaeda video. Week 2, he accused me of being narcoleptic. So hopefully Chuck can come up with something groovy and funny all over again this week. And just so you know, Chuck, the hat is off limits this week. This is not up for criticism. So you gotta really be creative. You gotta dig deep. Anyway, this week I just want to let you guys know I'm representing Clinton Portis with the jersey. You may have wondered who I was repping the first 2 weeks because I did not get to it. But in Week 1, it was free Chris Cooley. Chris Cooley deserves to have a job still in the NFL. There's no way that there are 48, 50 tight ends in this world that are better than Chris Cooley right now. So bring him back. I don't care if it's the Redskins. I don't care if it's the Raiders. I don't even care if he wound up with the Cowboys. I just want to see Chris Cooley back in the league. And that's a bold statement. You guys know that. Last week, I admit to manipulating the system a little bit. I was playing with the fantasy gods' heartstrings a little. And I wore the Larry Fitzgerald jersey in hopes that Fitz would get it going. And sure enough, he did. Big game this week, 28.4 points. And what turned out to still be a loss for myself in what, sadly, was the game of the week. At least I had a chance to go in the Sunday Night Football and come back and beat Jason because I had Gronk, Brandon Lloyd, Ray Rice, Steven Gostowski. So at least I had a chance, an outside shot, but it ended up being that congratulations, Jason. You moved to 3-0 on the season. You're at the top of the Black Magic division all by yourself, and you now have beaten me 2 games in a row after seemingly losing to me. Seriously, I think you lost to me 10 straight times over the first 5 years of the season. It seems like it anyway. So, good job, Jason. You're just exactly where you wanted to be at this point. In the other division, in the Cock and Fire division, Chuck he's crushing it. I mean, what can you say? He's 3-0. He's got the deepest team in the league. The only thing that's really going to hurt him is possibly his quarterback position, and more likely the fact that he's got so many difficult lineup decisions to make each week. Is that going to be what trips him up? We should all be so fortunate to have those kind of problems. Anyway, at the bottom, amazingly, Dustin is the lone 0-3 team, and ironically, I don't know if it's even ironic. It's just weird. Dustin is a huge, as we all know, huge New Orleans Saints fan, and the Saints have amazingly started 0-3 as well. So I don't understand. I don't know if there's a necessary correlation there because Breeze is not performing poorly fantasy-wise, but you just got to feel bad for Dustin right now. Fantasy football, NFL football, just not looking good for him right now. So our hearts go out to you, Dustin. I don't want to be the first person that you beat this season, but hopefully you'll get off the schneid soon. I don't know, when do you play Jason? I'll be rooting for you then, for sure. So, anyway, moving ahead. The stud of this week is absolutely, without a doubt, Jamal Charles. 42.8 points. 288 total yards, touchdown against the Saints. Not rubbing it in, Dustin, just giving Fluffy props for sticking with Jamal Charles, because he was actually, I think I read a stat the other day that he was benched in all but like 21% of his ESPN leagues. I know this is a CBS Sports League, and benching Jamal Charles was really never an option for Sean. But if it was an option for as many people, 80% almost of people in ESPN leagues to bench him, Sean does deserve a little bit of credit for sticking with Jamal and reaping the benefits this week. So, also in that game, Jamal Charles happened to be the single-handed winner for Sean, and what really a lot of you guys may not know was a bit of a grudge match between Fluffy and Snake. It goes back to some botched trade offers over the years in the 5 Points League, and being commissioner and being kind of the hub of that league, I heard about Fluffy's complaints and Snake's complaints, and so I was stuck in the middle, and now apparently earlier this season, Sean offered Rob Jamal Charles for Trent Richardson, because we know what an Alabama whore Fluffy is. Let's face it, he'd have every Alabama player. If we were an IDP league, he would try to own every single Alabama player. Kareem Jackson, McClain, D'Amico Ryans, you name a player, Hightower, he would want them all. But since there are only really two big-time, no offense to Mark Ingram, he just hasn't developed as of yet, but there's only two big-time Alabama players on the offensive side of the ball for fantasy. Sean would love to have Richardson or Julio, and Julio's not available. So Sean reached out, made the trade offer, which, let's face it, Jamal Charles for Trent Richardson, in a lot of leagues, that gets snatched up immediately, because Charles is clearly, he's been a top 5 back, he's been a top 10 back on multiple occasions in fantasy, and he showed that clearly he still has it this past week. But Rob is committed to youth and committed to his strategy, and so he turned it down. And there was a little bit of a disagreement between the parties. Sean felt slighted. Rob actually felt slighted too by maybe the responses, whatever. Like I said, the guys exchanged texts, and it became sort of, like I said, a grudge match this week. And ironically, had Snake accepted, and it's admittedly, Rob, this is a small sample size, but I must point out, given the situation, that had you accepted the trade, you would have been a winner, because you lost by less than the 23.7 point difference between Jamal Charles and Trent Richardson. So I'm just throwing it out there for informational purposes. Take it however you want. Anyway, that also leads to the splinter of the week. And there's no one splinter, and there's really no true splinter this week, but I guess I'm just going to pile on you a little bit more, Rob. Not intentionally, but you know that you considered benching Brady. You definitely had talked of starting Gresham, who barely outscored Pitta, but still outscored Pitta. And you know that I have espoused, and if you don't recall it to you, people can cycle back through my Twitter timeline and go back and reread blog posts that I've made in regard to Malcolm Floyd. He's eventually going to break your heart, and he broke your heart this week. Nate Washington would have won the game for you had you also had Roethlisberger and Gresham in. It's a stretch, but it's got to be a splinter every week, and so, like I said, while I was piling on, you get it. Anyway, moving forward, the dud of the week could be Butch's team for just sucking all around. I don't know. There's so many adjectives you can use for his team at this point. Ineffectual, impotent, pathetic. I don't know. Pick one. But CJ2K is now CJ 1.2 yards per carry, and Butch is going to have a tough time getting out from under that. Looks like he may be headed for another top pick again next season. But it'd be too easy to pick on Butch. I got to give it to Rob Gronkowski, because had Gronkowski gotten what his average over the last 2 seasons was, I believe that's 25.7 points a game or something ridiculous, especially for a tight end. Had he gotten that, not only would I put a scare in Jason on Sunday night, I would have won. Instead, Gronk lays a 4.1 point egg. So, dud of the week right there. Last 2 awards for the week go to Jamie. He gets the Rookie of the Week for RG3. RG3 scored almost 31 points and really didn't even look that great doing it. He just is that good that he now just puts up 30 points and doesn't even have good ball games. So he looks like he's the early candidate for Rookie of the Year. He's averaging 31 points a game. So if you need a quarterback, go to Jamie, because he's got 2 of the top 4 guys right now with Robert Griffin III and Matt Ryan. Maybe Jamie will be open to a trade. Obviously, if it helps both teams, then it's a good deal for the league. The ouch of the week has to go to Jamie as well. C.J. Spiller had to leave the game early after putting up decent points. He's still, I think, the #1 fantasy running back in our league. So there's that. But it opens the door for Fred Jackson to try to return this week and at least steal a modicum of his job back. And that would be the real ouch, not just the shoulder, because it looks like Spiller may be back even as early as next weekend with the injury. So it's not a long-term thing. Anyway, to wind it down, I'll stay on the topic of Jamie. Jamie, I know Megan has gotten the dress now, and I know you've gotten the ring. I know you guys have set a date now. So I just want to reach out and be, if not the first one in the league, to congratulate you guys and wish you the best. I just want to do it as publicly as possible, and what more public forum than the internet and YouTube to do it. And you know, you've been one of my best friends, if not my best friend, for over a decade now. And you know, all of us hope to find eventually, even myself, even as jaded and as much as I like to say that I probably will wind up being alone, but that's more on me than anything else. But all of us hope to find what you have found in Megan, and we all wish you guys the best. And we can't wait until next spring when you tie the knot, brother. So best of luck through this planning process, and you know, good for you for finding the one for you. And Megan really is. She's an awesome girl, and all of us that have had the opportunity to spend time with her all agree. So you're probably luckier than you deserve to be. But we all love you. We all love her, and so we couldn't be happier for you. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week. Hopefully next week I will not be a day late, and hopefully you will not view this one as being $1 short. Take care, boys. That's all from Fantasy Buddha Production.